Poor Cassandra. Was she truly doomed by her prophecies, or just sorely lacking a killer PowerPoint? Legend crowns her ancient Troy's most accurate fortune-teller, cursed to be right yet forever dismissed. Pop culture recasts her as the original party pooper, that friend grimly predicting disaster while everyone else snacks on hors d'oeuvres, or for Troy, the wooden hors d'oeuvre. The myth goes that Cassandra simply missed the charisma memo, botched her communication skills, or maybe just forgot to apply a friendlier filter on her Instagram apocalypse posts. If she'd had a YouTube channel, it would boast 0 subscribers, but a flawless 100% record on how the world ends uploads. Here's the twist. Cassandra's real problem wasn't her message. It was Apollo's vendetta. Instead of giving her divine public speaking tips, he slapped on a cosmic spam filter. No amount of PR spin, TED Talks, or email blasts could save Troy when the gods hit mute. This myth still resonates today, shaping our ideas about credibility and why women's warnings so often get left on read. Just as Cassandra's misunderstood warnings failed to prevent disaster, Paris's seemingly trivial choice ignited a significant conflict. Picture this: the fate of ancient Troy doesn't hinge on swords, but on a cosmic game of who wore it best. Our unlikely judge? Paris, a prince by birth, shepherd by day job, drafted to referee the first-ever divine beauty pageant featuring Aphrodite, Hera, and Athena. But don't be fooled. This contest is rigged with more bribes than a reality talent show finale. Hera offers political power, Athena throws in unbeatable battle skills, and Aphrodite, the mastermind, dangles the love of the world's most beautiful mortal, Helen. Paris, channeling every bias-riddled reality TV judge ever, picks romance over world domination and warrior prowess. Clearly, charisma beats combat skills. Relatable, really. Instead of calming goddess egos, Paris sparks cosmic grudges and, for mortals, sparks a decade-long war. While modern pageants end with tiaras, this one wraps up with ships and spears. Miss Olympus 1200 BC. Because why solve drama when you can fuel it with a sash and a golden apple? Following the spark of a beauty contest, Helen's abduction unfolded as a seemingly simple romantic escapade. Imagine eloping to Troy and accidentally launching a decade-long war. Now that's what you call a destination wedding gone spectacularly off-script. Most folks picture Helen as a willing runaway, packing her bags for Paris like it's a dreamy getaway, not an epic blunder. The myth paints her sneaking off, blowing lovesick kisses like she's secretly texting Paris heart emojis right under Menelaus's nose. But wait, historical sources aren't sending the same read receipt. Homer's Iliad keeps her motives as cryptic as the first unreadable status update, while later tales mix in abduction, trickery, or divine coercion like a plot twist buffet. Poor Menelaus, the original guy left on read, rallied the Greeks over what might have been less notebook romance, more international incident. And then there were the gods, those celestial micromanagers, turning one risky DM into a full-on pan-Hellenic meltdown. Some Greeks even debated whether Helen ever had any say at all, making her both icon and scapegoat in one breath. So next time your drama feels earth-shattering, remember, Helen's story isn't a rom-com, it's a cautionary tale. Don't let your private life go viral with the gods lurking in the DMs. If only her parents had installed Find My Daughter. While Helen's elopement appeared straightforward, Laocoon's warnings were dismissed as mere paranoia. Was Laocoon a high-strung buzzkill, or just a Greek tragedy binge-watcher with an overactive imagination? His famous "Beware Greeks bearing gifts" warning outlived him, and Troy, becoming the ultimate catchphrase for suspicious presents. Yes, even that re-gifted holiday fruitcake. Legend casts Laocoon as Troy's resident party pooper, side-eyeing the giant wooden horse oddly parked outside the city gates. But here's the plot twist. Ancient sources suggest his skepticism was less Debbie Downer and more reasonable adult spotting that surprise animal statues don't usually end well in epic poetry. He noticed some shoddy craftsmanship and called out the horse's design. Definitely no mini pony, and certainly not IKEA built. Unfortunately, Troy's never say no to a houseguest policy drowned out Laocoon's common sense blog, 10 signs your wooden horse might be full of Greeks. When sea serpents crashed the party for an unscheduled reality check, Laocoon graduated from conspiracy theorist to prophet. Modern historians now chalk his paranoia up to rational skepticism, like that one friend who warns you about questionable guests, but with far sharper epic taste. Despite Laocoon's ignored caution, Calchas's predictions were reduced to educated guesses rather than divine insight. Meet Calchas, history's original armchair quarterback, the guy who could predict doom, defeat, and dinner's ETA, all while lounging under a tent flap. Think your local weather forecaster is bold with baseless predictions? Meet Calchas, the ancient master of guesswork and gut checks. Legend has it he was Apollo's personal hotline, patching the Greeks into cosmic wisdom during the Trojan War. The reality? Calchas was less mystical seer, more Sherlock Holmes, just swapping magnifying glasses for bird flights and animal guts. Honestly, if reading entrails were a science, every butcher would have a Nobel by now. Calchas didn't need Apollo's help, he just had sharp eyes and a knack for military morale. When he said the Greeks couldn't win without Achilles, he was really just noting who hadn't punched the clock yet. At the end of the day, most divine inspiration is just well-sourced gossip. The generals asked Calchas for answers they already suspected. Think ancient management consulting, but with more feathers and fewer spreadsheets. Moving beyond prophecy, Achilles' protection seemed to arise from sheer luck. Imagine surviving a mythic childhood by dodging more than just bad haircuts and family drama. Achilles' first brush with destiny? Trying not to trip in a borrowed dress while hiding out on Syros, eyeing the local daughters like he crashed a toga-themed slumber party by accident. According to legend, his goddess mom Thetis gave him invulnerability by dunking him in some celestial river water, a spa day with legendary side effects. But behind the glam myth, mom's strategy was classic parental paranoia meets ancient risk management. Prophecies predicted doom, so Thetis threw everything at it. Ambrosia rubdowns, midnight flaming purifications, and, when all else failed, a nifty cross-dressing scheme. Forget cosmic loopholes. His infamous heel was really just the mythic version of missing a spot with sunscreen. Basic, but catastrophic. Each close call? Achilles desperately hunting for his lucky phone charger at 1%. Then one rogue arrow. Boom, game over. Turns out, even divine parenting can't provide a reliable safety net in ancient Greece. But hey, what a wild childhood resume. In the heat of battle, Patroclus' decision to wear Achilles' armor was a sudden, impromptu choice. Ever borrowed your friend's hoodie and felt invincible? Patroclus took that vibe, dialed it to 11, and rocked Achilles' actual armor. But hold up, this wasn't some slick Ocean's 11 heist. Nope, Patroclus wasn't out to steal Achilles' thunder, or his identity. He just wanted to stop the Greek army from becoming the Trojans' human doormat. The moment the Trojans spotted that famous gleaming armor, they freaked out, thinking Achilles had made a surprise comeback. Their morale crashed faster than a marathon runner in flip-flops. Meanwhile, the real Achilles was busy throwing a drama fest in his tent, blissfully unaware his armor was off on an unauthorized field trip. Patroclus' move? Pure loyalty, not a quest for likes. He hoped this bold stunt would guilt-trip Achilles into suiting up and saving the day. With no ancient security cams, Patroclus was flying blind on his please don't notice vibes. His impulsive borrowed fashion statement screams devotion, not masterminding. Sadly, like many hoodie borrowing fails, the aftermath was legendary. He returned the armor. In pieces. Just as Patroclus' action was spontaneous, Iphigenia's sacrifice appeared a rash decision by Agamemnon. Imagine being so desperate for good weather you'd consider sacrificing your own child. Welcome to Agamemnon's Deluxe Parenting Tips. Our guy, the big cheese of the Greek army, thought it a brilliant plan to offend Artemis, goddess of hunting, by skewering her favorite deer. The divine consequence? Artemis slapped a celestial no-fly zone over Aulis, leaving the entire Greek invasion force stranded, bored, and crankier than Odysseus stuck in an airport snowstorm. In dire need of a fix, Agamemnon consulted his local prophet, only to get the worst parenting advice ever. Appease Artemis by sacrificing your daughter, Iphigenia. Cue the horror movie soundtrack at the pre-Trojan War pep rally. Agamemnon agonized, but when war glory calls, family loyalty gets a hard pass. Somehow, this guy's sense of priorities makes Greek seers look like masters of tact. Clytemnestra, queen of passive-aggressive shade and Agamemnon's wife, was understandably outraged. Some tales say Iphigenia was swapped out at the last second. Others dive headfirst into full tragedy. Either way, Agamemnon's solution only brewed more family drama, because when your feuds outlast the Trojan War, you're not just dealing with drama, you're handling ancient trauma. Contrast this to the Trojan horse, which represented brilliant tactical ingenuity, free from prophetic influence. Forget divine whispers. This horse ran on pure strategy, not sacred signals. Popular legend wants us to believe the Trojan horse was a divine blueprint, as if Zeus himself faxed plans on Olympus stationery, or Athena whispered IKEA assembly tips through the Mediterranean breeze. Poppycock! In reality, the Greeks didn't consult oracles or check horoscopes. Nope. This caper wasn't sponsored by Mount Olympus. It was the brainchild of Odysseus, ancient Greece's original crafty CIA operative. After years of banging their heads, and probably running out of snacks, the Greeks got clever. The horse was built with muscle and mischief, not magic, sweat, sawdust, and the hopeful absence of squeaky planks. The Trojans, masters of rolling out the red carpet for terrible ideas, wheeled the horse inside without a single prophecy required. Honestly, if they'd waited for a divine sign, archaeologists would still be digging up tent pegs outside Troy. In the end, Troy fell not to fate, but to first-rate psychological warfare. Greek gods, you can take a back seat. Following the cunning horse, Aeneas's escape from Troy seemed more a matter of luck than fate. If escaping burning cities were an Olympic sport, Aeneas would snag the bronze, probably by tripping just before the finish line. Picture it. He's stumbling through the fiery ruins of Troy, piggybacking his elderly dad, dragging his baffled kid, and clutching a mysterious package of family gods. Everything's accounted for, except maybe his dignity, which he abandoned with the furniture. Legend claims Venus herself guided Aeneas, but if divine help can't offer a simple map, what's the point? Maybe the gods should have tried GPS instead of cryptic dreams and emotional trauma. The divine plan sounds suspiciously like, run like heck and hope it makes a good story. Forget escape tactics. He's basically fleeing Troy's version of an overcooked barbecue. Even the family drama hits all the cliches. His wife disappears in the chaos. Because honestly, no family road trip is complete without someone going MIA in a burning city. Romans worshipped Aeneas as their stoic founding father. But Homer's Greeks? They saw him as that cousin who lingers at your party long after the fire alarms sounded. Moral of the story: he survived Troy, but his sense of direction didn't. Onward to Italy, eventually. Similarly, Hector's downfall appeared as unfortunate battlefield misfortune. Was Hector just unlucky, or was his legendary tumble more than a battlefield blooper? Let's clear the air. Hector didn't accidentally lose. This wasn't hopscotch gone rogue. He faced Achilles, a demigod fueled by wrath and rocket-powered sandals. Still, armchair Homer enthusiasts insist Hector slipped on some cosmic banana peel, landing blade first into destiny. Here's the real heartbreak. That bad luck was less random mishap and more rigged game on steroids. Achilles' grudge was gold medal caliber. The gods were playing fantasy leagues. Newsflash, Hector got benched before the first quarter, and Hector made the bold choice to face down the Greek rage on their turf instead of jogging safely behind Trojan walls with a spot of tea. The Greeks weren't fans of coincidence. Fate, gods, and melodrama ran the show like an ancient reality TV hit, with ruthless elimination rounds. So calling Hector's fall misfortune is like blaming your Wi-Fi when you're still on dial-up trying to stream the Iliad. This wasn't a whoopsie-daisy. It was a carefully choreographed tragedy starring Hector front and center. Yet, unlike Hector, Agamemnon's homecoming was marked by peace and glory. After a decade slogging through war, Agamemnon probably imagined his homecoming as a confetti parade, not a slasher flick. Mythology sells us this triumphant return. The conquering king arrives, victorious and eager to reclaim his throne, and maybe indulge in a very long bath. Instead, he sails into Mycenae, not with souvenirs, but with Trojan royalty. Cassandra, the prophetess with a perfect 100% accuracy rate and a flawless 0% belief record. Awkward road trip guest? Absolutely. Meanwhile, Clytemnestra isn't fluffing pillow mints or prepping tearful speeches. No, she's sharpening her revenge with surgical precision, because Agamemnon once sacrificed their daughter, Iphigenia. In Greek myth, family drama doesn't just air dirty laundry, it torch bombs the whole house. The homecoming feast is less pop the champagne and more ominous thunderclaps. Agamemnon, blissfully lost in victory mode, has no clue he's starring in ancient Greece's bloodiest true crime saga. Spoiler alert, when your wife's got an axe to grind, marital counseling gets direct. Contrasting Agamemnon's fate, Polyxena's death was an arbitrary act of cruelty. Imagine surviving the fall of Troy only to land a starring role in a tragic finale you never auditioned for. That's Polyxena's unlucky gig. While most post-siege survivors were busy mastering invisibility cloaks or negotiating ransoms, Polyxena, the youngest daughter of King Priam, outlasted the city's flaming downfall only to be handed over as the Greeks' sacrificial solution. Apparently, Achilles' ghost wasn't taking no for an answer. After all, nothing says rest in peace like a dramatic, unwilling encore performance. It wasn't random. The Greeks insisted appeasing Achilles' ghost required gestures worthy of the gods, preferably involving innocent teens and maximum plot twist potential. Polyxena, who neither launched 1,000 ships nor hid in a giant wooden horse, became the post-siege scapegoat. Her sole offense: bad timing and inconvenient proximity to royalty. Some ancient writers say she met her end with courage, but that sounds more like a PR spin than a historical fact. Her death wasn't justice. It was mythological housekeeping. The Greeks needed neat closure, not fairness. If Achilles' ghost demanded sacrifices, maybe next time he should settle for a bouquet instead of a human offering. Polyxena survived a decade-long siege just to bomb at the afterparty, proving that in Greek myth, collateral damage always gets the best tragic monologues. In this climate of cruelty, Sinon's deception succeeded by mere chance. Was Sinon just the luckiest liar in the Mediterranean, or was there a method to his madness? Picture this: the lone Greek left behind outside Troy, looking as innocent as a cat caught near a toppled vase. The Trojans immediately sniffed trouble. After a decade-long siege, trust issues is barely scratching the surface. But give Sinon a stage, and Broadway would take notes. He spun an elaborate, tear-jerking tale of betrayal by his own people, so over-the-top even reality TV stars might pause and learn. This was no fluke. It was cunning with a pinch of flair. He cried on cue, slammed his fellow Greeks, and sprinkled in flattering details to stroke Trojan pride. Slowly, Trojan skepticism melted into gullibility, especially when a goddess showed up with convenient omens, practically winking, "Trust this guy." In the end, Sinon's con wasn't a roll of the dice. It was a stacked deck. If lying were an Olympic sport, he'd have brought home the gold for Greece. Similarly, Palamedes fell victim to unfounded accusations rather than decisive evidence. Imagine being so brilliant that people would rather frame you than face you head-to-head. Welcome to the Bronze Age, where Palamedes, the Greek strategy wizard, turned overachiever into a high-risk job title. He was the guy you wanted solving siege puzzles, but definitely not the one you invited to your "Who's the Smartest Hero?" trivia night, if you were Odysseus, that is. See, Odysseus held a grudge after Palamedes exposed his fake madness stunt. And what's a little ancient vendetta between frenemies? Odysseus, Hollywood-level schemer, cooked up a plot fit for daytime TV. He slipped Trojan gold and a ridiculously obvious forged letter into Palamedes' tent, making him history's first casualty of fake news. The Greeks? They gobbled the bait faster than they fell for Helen's face and executed Palamedes. No trial, not even a parking ticket. The kicker? They axed their sharpest mind just to knock out the competition. In ancient Greece, being too clever wasn't just risky, it was a death sentence. Finally, unlike these Greek tales, prophecies remained strictly within Greek traditions, absent in Norse myths like Odin's. Think prophecy, and your mind likely conjures toga-clad Greeks squinting into smoke, not your next-door neighbor's horoscope habit. The stereotype goes, fortune-telling was an ancient Greek exclusive, Delphi or bust, baby. But try telling that to Norse seers, Mayan calendar keepers, and Sumerian dream readers, who were all dialing in their own cosmic hotlines long before Apollo got famous. If prophecy had truly been a Greek monopoly, Nostradamus would have had to move to Athens. Talk about an epic relocation. Here's the scoop. Greek oracles just had better PR. Delphi practically invented influencer marketing, wrapped in incense, dishing out prophecies only slightly less cryptic than your morning email spam. Meanwhile, the Sumerians, Egyptians, and Chinese had their own prophetic gigs, from dream diving to enthusiastically gut-checking animals. While Greeks preferred riddles, others read signs, omens, or even a well-timed thunderbolt with dramatic flair. Even Plato and Socrates hung on oracles' every word, though pharaohs and emperors worldwide were playing the same game. Honestly, the only thing no one saw coming? How fiercely we'd all debate about Wi-Fi millennia later.